Hello, everybody. It is, as we tape this, 1 in the morning. I just finished watching the Dynamite portion of AEW Summer Blockbuster. The reason why we're taping this late is because this is actually our show podcast taping day this week on Wednesdays, which means production and a bunch of other editing. So it's usually a late night, but that's okay. Just got to keep my voice down. But still here to give you the things I like, things I didn't like. Again, this week, listen, it's 4 hours. Again, we're only reviewing the Dynamite portion, the first 2 hours of their show. So let's get right to it here with my reactions. I'll start with the things I liked. Great decision by Tony Khan and the team to start the show with Will Ospreay versus Swerve Strickland. I didn't even realize that AEW was up against the NBA Finals. So timing it out, you have your match, you immediately start with it, you go to 30-minute draw, and then you have the angle with the Young Bucks. We'll talk more about the Young Bucks here shortly. But everything stretched about, 40 minutes, which timed out right into the start time, the tip time of the NBA Finals. So great job as far as knowing, hey, we might have our max audience at the beginning of the show as opposed to the traditional main event slot. And you start with those guys. The fight for the company thing, I don't know, but that's part of the story. And after the 30-minute draw, which we knew about watching at home, but the commentators, Taz in particular, was talking about there wasn't a sense of urgency with Swerve near the end. What they used to do at AEW with potential time limit draws, they used to announce over the live mic that there was 1 minute left. They used to do that. So they purposely did not do that for the live audience, for the live crowd. I wonder if that had anything to do with it. Something to think about. We knew about the timing at home. We knew when it was 25 minutes in. We knew that 90 seconds. We knew 60 seconds. So that part was good. Pretty good wrestling match. Again, I'll be honest, my energy level was a little bit down just because, again, of our long taping day. So, not a classic by any stretch of the imagination, but a bad Will Ospreay Swerve match is better than most A+ matches. So, there you go. Taz on commentary. I have a major issue with the AEW play-by-players, but Taz, in my opinion, he still has his fastball. And you can make the case that he is the best color commentator in all of pro wrestling. Taz does a great job not only playing off as the heel, but there's a lot of things that happen in the ring that he's able to quickly explain why certain moves, why certain things are important, and why wrestler A should get after it, or why wrestler B should get after it, and the special things. I think Taz does a great job on commentary, explaining some of the wrestling moves too. I think this is just a general comment. Taz, it's amazing. AEW employs 3,000 play-by-play commentators, but they only have 2 analysts. Nigel McGuinness is coming along, but Taz is still has his fastball as an analyst, still doing a great job. At the end of the show, Okada and Kenny Omega, they have their contract signing. Little things, the video package explaining why this is a big deal. To those who may not be familiar, those little things are important. Kenny Omega referencing that video package. And when you get a matchup like this, initially built out of respect, you don't expect anything different. I don't like the name of the Unified Championship. Hey, I'm a Unified Champion. Sounds stupid, but hey, the title belt looks really good. I will admit that. It looks really nice. And I like the fact that, you know what? This feud has 4 weeks to build. Trying to build this out of respect is not going to work. So I like that Don Callis and Okada, they're actually working together. That works for me. So we'll see where that goes. All right. What I didn't like. Listen, I think when you go to a wrestling show as a fan, yes, wrestling fans, wrestling crowds do enhance shows. But it is up to the fans to be smart and know they need to read the room. The match with Swerve and Will Ospreay it barely started. And you're in a small arena, and the way things were mic'd up, it sounded like 4 or 5 people out of the entire audience was chanting "Holy blank, holy blank." I'm not going to curse here because it's more family-friendly thing here, but like we're cursing for no reason on a family show, and both companies do. This is not an AEW only shot. This is we see it every week with WWE crowds at times. You know, back in the day, if you chanted "This is awesome," that's because you were watching a 5-star match. You were watching CM Punk, John Cena in Chicago and Money in the Bank. If you were chanting "This is awesome," you're chanting "Holy blank," it was because you was watching Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson at AEW Dynasty of St. Louis. You were watching spotlight matches. And it was during the peak moments of the match, not just at the beginning, like where nothing happened. And we're chanting that. You sound stupid. It sounds stupid. Like, you got to know your surroundings. Yell, be cheerful. Like, hey, here we go. You know, chant your favorite wrestlers. Like, that's where you do, you know, let's go Ospreay, let's go Swerve's house. You know, you do that. But cursing ain't cool. It's just not. Wasting chants just to get yourself over. Come off as a mark. It's just not a good look. I mentioned before the disjointed commentary. What are we doing with the Dynamite commentary team? What? Taz is excluded from this because I mentioned earlier Taz is a beast. But who's the play-by-play guy? I only need one play-by-play guy. Not 2, just 1. Plus, Excalibur and the guy not named Excalibur, they both kind of sound the same, but it's obvious that they're not the same people. It's a weird setup. And it's not built for success. So let's join the commentary. And it sounds bad, too. Again, late night for me. I'm trying to follow along with the show, and these guys are giving me a headache. It's just pitiful. And then I thought we was going to get something with, you know, I like that Hangman Page, they taped him up. Death Riders. Mox laid out a little bit of a mission statement, just a bit, towards Hangman. It was like, this is all or nothing, but that's more surface level. Everybody knows that this is Hangman's only opportunity. And if he doesn't come through, that's it. That's surface level. I was waiting to get beyond surface level with Hangman and Mox, and we just didn't get it. And we've been at surface level with the Death Rider story since day one, and we got nothing from Mox. Like, come on. This is supposedly your main event of the biggest show of the year, and I don't know a damn thing about the motivations of your current world champion. I don't even know what the championship belt freaking looks like. I don't even know why people are competing for it. All right, we're done. See you next time.